Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Five Star Revolution podcast with your host, CJ Price. Welcome to another great episode of the Five Star Revolution podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel right now and also join us on Facebook, Five Star Revolution Podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest. He's all from the great state of Texas. His name is Cody Perin. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Thanks for joining me here, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So let's start from the beginning here. I want to know, were you a fan of wrestling growing up? And if so, who's some of your favorites?
Now I'm a huge fan. So I want to say I started watching wrestling around like 2007, but my first memories come from around 2009. Let's say like the first like big pay per view I remember was TLC, and I remember watching DX defeat Jericho in the TLC match for the tag team championships. Whenever was it like Shawn climbed up the one like ladder as Triple H was just holding it up. That's like the first like big moment I remember. So yeah, I was a huge fan. And growing up, as a kid, obviously Super Cena. You know, he was the top guy. Big John Cena fan, of course. Randy Orton, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time. And I love Orton. Ziggler's another one I loved watching growing up. The Miz. I was a big fan of John Morrison. I thought he was just amazing. He come out in slow motion with the pyro. His finish, the Starship of Pain, was just like the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
So you're a newer generation wrestling fan, huh? How
Definitely,
old are you?
definitely. I'm 21.
Okay, so I'm 31, so I'm 10 years ahead of you. I've been watching wrestling since I was like 5 years old. So 95, that's when I started watching.
Yeah, you got a nice little gap ahead of me.
So you missed all of the Attitude Era, huh? You missed the good
I
stuff.
did, yeah.
But with
Apparently,
the
they
network,
say it
I'm
was the
sure you
good
caught
stuff.
up, right?
What's up?
I said with the network, I'm sure you caught up.
Oh yeah, I got all the key highlights from the network.
Let me ask you this: what were your thoughts as a newer generation wrestler and as a new generation fan? What were your thoughts about the Attitude Era compared to the era that you grew up with?
So me and a guy named Elijah Six, we were on a car ride up to Beyond Wrestling, and we were actually talking about this last week. So in my opinion, the Attitude Era has the best storytelling in the history of WWE. Like every character you were able to get invested in had a storyline, and you just wanted to see what happened. And the focus really wasn't on the in ring work. Whereas today, and probably starting around the Ruthless Aggression era, I would say it was all about ring work. That's what everybody focused on. That's what everybody wanted to watch. So I think the Attitude Era is the best storytelling the WWE has ever had. But I think today's wrestling is probably better than any other era.
I agree. I agree with you there. WWF Attitude Era was all about storytelling, making the wrestlers, you know,
Larger than life.
larger than life. Exactly. Still, there's still some of that today, but not as
There is,
much.
but not, yeah, not as much.
So let's skip ahead here. Where was that moment in your head where you said, "I want to do this. I want to become a pro wrestler"?
So growing up, I always wanted to do sports. Like I loved baseball, and that was what I had always played. And then I started watching wrestling. I was like, dang, I kind of want to do wrestling. So I get to high school, and baseball's not really working out. Uh, I see Booker T's having a fantasy camp. I'm like 16 at the time. I think I'm like my sophomore or junior year of high school, and I was like, "Hey, mom, can we go do this?" So she signs me up. We do the fantasy camp. I was like, "Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want to do when I graduate and what I want to do for my life. I want to be a wrestler."
What'd your mom say about that?
She was all for it. My parents have always been supportive in whatever I decided to do, whether play basketball, baseball, or whatever I wanted to do. Wrestling, they've always been supportive.
The reason I asked that is because I used to be a wrestler myself, and some of my family members thought I was crazy. They thought I was a dream that would never come true, and I proved them wrong. I did become a wrestler, not on TV, but
But you did what you set out to do.
exactly. So, who Who was your first training school? How did you find out about wrestling school in your area?
So I think one day in high school, I just Googled wrestling schools near me, and the first thing that popped up was Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. So as soon as so I went to fantasy camp, and then the day after graduation, Raw was actually held in Houston. So I got to go to Raw, and then that next day, that next Tuesday, I drove down with my mom to the school. We talked to Booker, and was off to the races.
So you train with Booker T, one of the best wrestling schools in the world.
Yes, he was my first trainer.
So how was that experience for you?
Oh man, it's unbelievable. I mean, you're getting to learn from a two-time Hall of Famer, a five-time WCW champion. Well, he's been through everything. He's done everything in this business. So all the knowledge you can learn is just a lot, and it's amazing. As well as the way they have it set up there. All the guys book trained are also trainers there. So I have guys like Ryan Davidson, MLW star Gino Medina, a guy who's coming up, who's really blowing up right now. His name is Will Alday. Those are some of the guys who have also really helped me along the way, not just training, but like weightlifting and getting in shape and helping me mentally focus.
I heard that Booker T's wrestling school is world class, and they have some people that are on TV today that train. They're like, what's her name? Athena. She was there,
Yes,
and she's a
she
great
came through
wrestler.
there. I believe the Usos have came through there.
Yep.
I know when he first started out, guys who were in OVW at the time, like Shelton, I think MVP, a bunch of guys, weren't doing anything on TV. They were just OVW. They didn't want to be in OVW. They came down to books, trained at books.
So what do you train now? Do you still train at Booker T school or?
So I'm actually in Connecticut right now, and I have two dojos I train at. One is Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Uh, the owner of that one is Paul Roma and Mario Mancini. And the one I'm currently at right now, so the background for it actually is Test of Strength Wrestling, and the head trainer there is Slick Wagner Brown.
Another another great names right there. Paul Roma, that's a legend from WWF. Slick Wagner Brown trained with a legend in Killer Kowalski. So two great wrestlers right there to be under their umbrella of. So that's good for you, my friend. So for people that are not familiar with you, that don't know who you are, do you mind explaining who Cody Perin is? Who's the character?
All right, so the character Cody Perin, I actually got the idea from Richard Holiday. So I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do, and I remember I wanted to be like WWE's version of Conor McGregor. Like I just wanted to talk the most, and back it up and be the most, just badass character you ever seen. But people love to hate McGregor, but they want to pay to see him because he's Conor McGregor. So that was my sort of inspiration behind it. But I didn't really know how to go about that until I met Richard Holiday, and he really helped bring that out.
Richard Holiday is an upcoming talent. I hope I get to have him on my podcast someday. So, Richard Holiday, if you're listening to this, hit me up on Five Star Revolution podcast, man. But seriously, he's a great up and coming talent, and I can see a little resemblance on your promo pics on your poses and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Richard Holiday gave you the idea. I'm gonna put you up to a challenge right here. I do this to every wrestler that comes on my podcast. Okay,
All right.
I challenge the wrestler to cut a promo for me in character for like 30 seconds on anything you want. Do you think you can do it?
Ah, over any. Ah, man, this is hard. I'm when you give me a topic, I can run with it. When you say
What about
anything,
what about me? Just CJ Price. We're gonna go in a steel cage match.
CJ Price still cage match, a 30-second promo. It's a tough one. I don't.
You don't have to accept the challenge. That's okay.
I want to. I have no idea what I'm gonna say. Cutting promos are extremely difficult.
No, they're
It's one
not,
of the
man.
yes, they are. They are the hardest thing in wrestling.
Nah, I used to be decent at it. Especially as a heel. I'm assuming you're a heel.
Yes.
Easy peasy, man. How long you been wrestling?
So I was at Books for about 2 years. Took about 6, maybe 7.5 months off before I started back up again here in Connecticut at Paul Roma's.
So what? You're like 3, 4 years in now.
Yeah, around there.
What's one thing you wish you knew that you know now?
Ears open, mouth shut.
Good advice. Yes, I agree. Ears open, mouth shut. Absolutely. And leave your ego at the door as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, did you imagine when you first stepped into the wrestling ring that it was going to hurt as much?
Uh, not not really, because obviously I knew it was fake. I knew they got hurt and it did hurt. I didn't really have an idea of how bad it would hurt until I took that first bump, and I was like, oh, it's not too bad. Like it still hurts, and you get used to it after a while. Like I think it's just the first ones, like that initial shock is like, oh wow, that's what a bump feels like.
The reason I asked that because you said that you thought wrestling was fake before you started wrestling.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that now? What do you say to those people that think wrestling is fake?
it's uh, it's choreographed. It's scripted, choreographed entertainment.
I agree, yes, but you can't fake gravity, my friend.
No,
You're
you
falling
cannot.
off the top rope onto the mat. That's just gonna hurt, man.
Yeah.
So, Cody Perin, let's talk dream matches for a second. Who? Not anybody on TV. I want to know some local talent that you want to step in the ring with that you haven't had the chance to.
One guy I've been dying to get in the ring with is Ichiban. That
Okay.
that's that's at the top of my list. I would love to step in there with Ichiban. Uh, Holiday. I'd love to get in there with Holiday. Kailine King's another one. And I've wrestled this guy already, but I'd love to wrestle him again. Yeah, just Dustin Flash Waller.
Yes, I've seen that name. Oh, all those names I've heard of and seen. Besides Ichiban, I had never seen his work yet.
You gotta go look up Ichiban. He is just amazing.
Is he a luchador?
He can be.
He can be. All right. Okay. So, what about big names that you want to step in the ring with?
Uh, my trainer, obviously Booker T. To get a one-on-one with him would be just the world for me.
The window's
Uh,
going straight, man.
yeah, I know. Uh, I love to get in there with John Cena, Randy Orton, Styles.
I don't know about Styles. I think he'll blow you up, bro.
Yeah, I work heel. He can run all he wants. All I gotta do is just cut him off.
That's true. That's true. So, what can we expect out of you in the next 3 years? What's in your future, man?
So well, short term, hopefully, for Mania Weekend, I'll be back in Texas, so that'll be fun getting to wrestle during Mania Weekend down in Texas. But I mean, as far as my time in Connecticut, I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna be up here, so I'm gonna take advantage of all the opportunities I can get. I'm gonna be going to start going to Beyond on Thursdays. Hopefully, I can get booked there. Test of Strength, Paradise Alley, Top Rope. Just take all the opportunities I can to go out to all these different promotions, try to wrestle and network with whoever I can.
So, this Connecticut move is not permanent.
It is not permanent. I'm not
So,
sure how much longer I'll be here, but eventually I will be back in Texas.
what part of Texas? Dallas, Houston. You said Houston, right near Houston.
Houston. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, WrestleMania weekend. What shows are you gonna be booked down there?
So Right now, none are confirmed, but because I'm not sure if I will make it, I am trying my hardest. But if I can, the shows I'm going for are ROW, Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. Another one I would love to wrestle for is New Texas Pro Wrestling and GCWA, Gulf Coast Wrestling Alliance. Those are like the three that if I can get down there, I'd love to work for during Mania weekend.
I'm sure you can get booked down there, man. There's gonna be a bunch of independent wrestling
Oh,
shows.
yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of wrestling that weekend.
Absolutely. I remember when they came to New York because I was a spectator for WrestleMania 35, and I also went to WrestleMania 29. But that's besides the point. I remember there were at least 20 shows before the actual WrestleMania show, like 20 independent shows running that weekend. I was like, dude, that's so much wrestling. Like,
Yeah,
so
it's a lot.
if you can't get booked, there's something wrong with you. So, Mr. Perrin, what? Let's talk a little bit about the future here. Have you ever thought of when it's all said and done, when you're done in the ring, what do you want to do in this business? Do you want to remain in the business in some capacity, or
Oh, most definitely. I can't see myself doing anything outside of wrestling. A dream of mine would be to one day own my own promotion, or if that's not possible, I would love to just be a part of reality of wrestling and what they're doing down there, and just stay involved in the business.
sounds good? So, how is the rest besides the WrestleMania weekend? We all know WrestleMania weekend. There's going to be a bunch of promotions and stuff. But besides that, how is the independent wrestling scene in Texas?
Oh, it's on fire. It's probably the best it's been in a while, and I don't think there's too many other states that can say they have the best independent wrestlers right now.
Besides
I mean,
Massachusetts,
what's up?
besides New England.
Even the Texas talent is just we're built different down there.
What you mean, bro? You're gonna be in Beyond Wrestling. Beyond Wrestling is one of the top tier wrestling promotions out there.
Yeah, but I mean, you look like girls like AQA, trained with Booker T from Texas, just got signed to AEW.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah, Draco Anthony on NXT and 205 Live from Booker T's.
Okay.
Uh, we have a female named Hyan. I think she's doing her rounds in the UK right now, but I know she does like Zello Pro Wrestling in Chicago, and she's very popular. Uh, Former Ring of Honor Women's Champion Roxy.
Yep.
I
She's about to
mean,
get signed. Yep.
Texas is just built different right now. We're on the come up, and people need to be on the lookout.
Too bad the Dallas Cowboys can't win shit. Or their baseball team. You said you were into baseball. Astros, they're cheaters, huh?
Hey, but we won. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I'm a huge Red Sox fan, so.
Oh, that's hey, we're the best team in the American League. That's all I gotta say.
So do you know about baseball? You want to talk about baseball for a little bit, or
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, I'd love to follow baseball, uh, and basketball.
what
I
do you
follow
think about
basketball a little bit more.
this stupid strike that's going on with baseball, or the
I
lockout,
think
lockout, whatever
the
it's called?
lockout. Yeah, not a fan because
Me
it's gonna
neither.
delay. It's gonna delay the season, and I really want to go to Fenway and see some Red Sox games.
Exactly. Yes, me too. Yes, yes. Especially last year, nobody thought we were gonna make the playoffs, man.
I
Nobody thought,
didn't. Yeah, I was one of those.
and we made it all the way to the championship game.
I was very surprised. I didn't think the Red Sox had it in them.
So if that gives you an idea of about our future, come on, man. And plus, we eliminated those stupid Yankees.
The Yankees are the most overhyped team in baseball. They spend
You know,
all that money and still can't win.
every time I have an argument with a Yankees fan, like my dad or my best friend, who are both Yankees fans, every time I argue with them, they always bring up the stupid one point. Oh, we have 27 rings. Always living in the past. Nobody cares about that.
But they
Oh,
haven't won in since what, like 2009?
yeah, that was the last time. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's been a decade. No, do
that's like
do
that's
something
like saying
now.
Celtics are the best basketball team ever because they got 18 rings.
Yeah, they haven't been back to the final since '09 either.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. So yeah, Celtics fans live in the past off of Bill Russell and Larry Bird.
I'm just getting back into basketball actually. I haven't followed it in like 3 years, bro. No lie. I still play the video games and stuff, but I don't watch it on TV. So what's going on in basketball? Who are the top teams? I think the Lakers, right?
I wish. So Lakers are actually my team. You know, I have love for the Rockets. I'm from Houston, but I grew up a diehard Kobe fan. So the Lakers will always be my team because of Kobe. And but no, Lakers right now we're struggling, and
Really?
we'll be we'll be lucky to hit the playoffs.
You guys got Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Who else? James Harden on that team too?
James Harden is on the Phillies. We have Russell
See,
Westbrook,
I'm not watching it. See,
but Westbrook's not playing like Westbrook used to play, and I don't think they ever should have traded for him because they gave away a lot of good pieces from the championship team from 2 years ago for him. I think that was a bad move. They let Alex Caruso walk during free agency, which was a big mistake. And they've made a lot of bad moves and didn't do anything at the trade deadline, and it's gonna hurt them.
well, Westbrook is a ball hog,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
and,
Westbrook's play.
and so is LeBron James a little bit.
He has to. You look, Kobe was a ball hog. He had to. AI was a ball hog, and when he was with the Sixers, he had to be.
But if you're gonna play with Westbrook, you gotta share the ball, bro.
Westbrook's got to know his role. He's playing with LeBron.
You have to see his mentality. He was the superstar of his team, and now he's gonna be a secondary star on the
Yeah,
Lakers.
this. Yeah, that's the thing. He's not even the second best player on the Lakers. I would say Anthony Davis is better than Russell Westbrook. He's a third option, and he needs to adjust, and he's just not.
So who are the top teams right now in basketball?
So in the West, the Warriors just got Clay back, so they're starting to get their groove back. I believe the Jazz are at the top of the standings right now. Uh, I don't. I believe the Grizzlies are doing pretty decent. Who else is out the West? I'm trying to. I know more about the East right now because the East is crazy with the
Celtics
Bulls, the
Celtics are
Heat.
doing decent, right?
Yeah, Celtics aren't doing too bad, but I mean, you look at the Sixers, who just got Harden. You got the Nets, who just got Ben Simmons. You got the Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo, defending champions. The Heat are playing great basketball. The Bulls are playing great basketball. There's just a lot of good teams in the East this year.
Yeah, I definitely got to get back to it because I was just watching the dunk contest and the what you might call it the
The All Star.
All-Star game. Yeah,
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
Did the East win?
I think Team LeBron won.
Okay, see, the West are gonna win the title again. I think the West won last year too, right?
No, that was the Bucks won last year.
See, I haven't been watching like 3 years. I swear to God, bro. Swear to God. Ever since LeBron got traded to the Lakers, I haven't watched. And I'm not a Cavaliers fan, or I'm not a whatever team he was on. I'm a Celtics fan. So anyway, back to wrestling here for a couple more questions for you, Mr. Perrin. If you've been a heel pretty much your whole career, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
How
heels
would
for
you
life.
feel about being a face?
Ah, it'd be it'd be weird for me just cause like having to get the crowd behind you and fired up. I think is like a hard thing to do because you got to get them to cheer for you while you're getting your ass kicked. You got to get them to want you to win, and also, that's a lot more work. Like when you're a heel, you can slow it down. You don't have to do as much. But when you're a babyface, you got to be on your horse. You got to be moving. You got to make sure everything looks nice and nice and crisp for all your stuff.
I definitely agree, man. Being a heel is easy. Getting that cheap heat is easy. Getting people to hate you is easy. But being a
Yeah, it's
face,
way
which
easier.
I tried being a face for a few months, dude. I totally freaking failed. I can't
It's
can't do it.
yeah.
It's hard, like you said, it's hard. So I give props to people that can do it, that can be a face and get people to cheer them and actually get behind them. It's a hard thing to master. So if you ever do it, man, good luck.
People love to hate me. It's way too easy for them.
What about merchandise? You got any merchandise available or
Not yet. Hopefully soon we'll have some Cody Perin apparel coming out.
any catchphrases you're gonna put on the shirt?
Uh, I don't really have any catch. I mean, maybe something like All Star Cody Perin or something saying I was trained by the two-time WWE Hall of Famer.
My catchphrase used to be because my name's CJ Price. If I were you, I will go all in on me. It's corny, but whatever. So, Mr. Perrin, last question. If you had the choice to go to one of the big companies, who would it be and why?
Oh, WWE, without a doubt. I mean, if I could go if I had a choice, that's where I would go. But I would gladly go to wherever who would take me. But like, if I had offers from everybody, I would choose WWE.
Why is that?
So WWE is more, character based. It's supposed to be more entertainment, and that appeals to me more than the in ring. So like, I love watching guys work in the ring, all the stuff they can do, the athleticism. It's great, but for me, at a certain point, I've had enough of that, and I want to see the story. I want to see the character development. I want to see the betrayal. I want to see, the story. I want to get invested in the character themselves, and that's hard to do when it all the focus is on what's going on in the ring. And
I love.
I just feel like WWE is great at storytelling in general. It may be a little down right now, but I mean, they've been running for like 20 years. That's gonna happen.
No, they've been running for like 50 years.
Yeah,
And I agree with you on the storytelling. WWE knows how to tell a great story when they want to. Like you said, for the last what 2 or 3 years, they've been lacking in that department. But when they want to, they can tell a great story. Just
yeah.
like when Edge came back, that was great. I love that. When Undertaker's last ride at his last WrestleMania match against
WrestleMania
Styles,
with
that was
AJ,
great.
that was a good one.
That was good, right? So, Mr. Perrin, where can our listeners follow you on social media?
So Instagram is allstar.cp1. And then in my bio, there's a link to my YouTube. Go ahead and follow and share that as well. It'd be much appreciated.
Any matches coming up that you want to promote?
Uh, this Saturday, I will be in the anytime gold gauntlet match for PAPW.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Go follow my friend Cody Perrin on all those platforms that he just mentioned. Subscribe to his YouTube channel and go check him out at PAPW if you're in the area. Mr. Cody Perrin, we wish you the best of luck in your career, and thank you so much for joining us on the Five Star Revolution podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Have a good night.